2,500 years ago, one night, the king of Wu Empire got a mysterious visitor. He brought the king a book called The 13 Chapters of War. No one knew the visitor nor his book before that night. His name was Sun Wu, or Sun Tzu. The book was later called The Art of War. Sun Tzu was called the Master of War, and then the master of literally any sort of battles. Contrast to the popularity of his book, Sun Tzu remains mysterious until this day. The record of known wars led by him was zero. This makes the historians wonder whether Sun Tzu was just a writer or the alias of a general. His only appearance in history was a chapter in Shiji, a credited book intended to record the history, but it had little to do with war. What happened was Sun Tzu volunteered to train the king's 200 concubines. They marched out of the city. 2 women were the king's favorite. They were too proud to listen to Sun Tzu. As a result, he ordered to execute them in spite of the king's plea. After the execution, Sun Tzu wrote to the king, "When the general is away, he doesn't have to listen to the king." While the historians have hard time finding the trace of Sun Tzu, the generals, the philosophers, and the masters in any workplace were extremely lucky to get a gold mine of ideas from his book. The supply lasts until today. Many world-class companies, Toyota, GE, etc., have set The Art of War as one of the must-read books for their managers. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you will win any kind of battles. When did you hear this last time? Well, if you are in Asia and in the business sphere, I bet you will hear it every day. The Spanish translator Fernando Menza said, "When it comes to modern warfare, the best practitioner of the art of war is Chairman Mao of China." Mao went through many wars in his life. He was obsessed with winning. Eventually, he won a new country and over 1 billion people under his regime. Is his winning justified? Well, this question is beyond this presentation. But few people would argue about Mao's military acumen. The record shows that Mao religiously read The Art of War and used the tactics in his battles. For example, Sun Tzu stressed the importance of preparation before starting a war. He said, "The victorious troops set the winning strategy before go to the war. The defeated troops go to the war first and then seek to win." In the early age of Mao's military career, most of his soldiers were peasants and farmers, so he made a simple version of the strategy to help them use it. Never fight a battle without preparation. Never fight a battle without the certainty of winning. Sun Tzu said, "When the enemy is relaxed, make them suffer. When full, make them starve. When settled, make them move." Mao started with a small army. He struggled to dodge his enemies' bullets for decades. He was often teased by his enemies, even sometimes by his own soldiers. But he never budged. He told his soldiers, "We retreat when the enemy advances. We disturb when they stay. We beat them when they are tired. Chase them when they retreat. Sun Tzu was never a warmonger, but when we have to face our enemies, he said, the best fight is to subdue your enemy without fighting. Back to Mao. Seeing his troops turn into a strong position, Mao told his soldiers, let's approach our enemies with a peaceful ladder in one hand and a grenade in the other. Only in this way can we defeat our enemies. Are you a self-help junkie? Well, maybe Sun Tzu was the father of the self-help hypes. He said, make yourself undefeatable first, then wait for the opportunity to feed your enemy. Mao was immensely motivated by this in his youth. He wrote in a letter, work harder, aim higher every day. Then we will have a bright future. Although Sun Tzu taught us how to win the war, he made it clear that he hated the war. He said, the highest form of war is strategy. The second is friendship. The third is a battle. The last one is attacking a city. But I had hard time finding the sense that Mao hated the war too. I just finished reading the book Mao, an Unknown Story. No surprise, it's banned in China. I can't help but believe Mao was a warmonger. He loved all forms of war, including the ones against his own people in a peaceful time. When he launched the nationwide campaigns that killed tens of millions of innocent people, he said, I'm overjoyed to fight against the sky, the earth, and human beings. Notice it? I'm using a Zhuangzi quote to finish this Sun Tzu presentation. When the fishes are swimming with freedom in the river, they forget each other. When people found the ultimate way, they forget each other too. Here, forgetting is the best life state where people even forget winning. People say, we have already got Sun Tzu to teach us how to win. Why do we still need these thinkers like Confucius, Lao Tzu, and Zhuangzi? They are just selling us thoughts and fantasies. Be careful, my friend. When winning becomes the only thing in your life, you'd better be prepared to lose everything. Humans are a tiny part of the world, let alone our thirst of winning. That is why we need thinkers. They teach us how to deal with the world, not ourselves. As for the warmongers, let me put it this way. If the thinkers are making last ripples in the river of history, the war masters are just making a fleeting splash. When it comes to the winning addicts, they think they are making a loud winning sound, but they drop back to the water in no time, making almost no noise whatsoever. Thank you.